This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. A new variant of COVID-19 making its rounds across the globe, and it's only a matter of time before it hits our shores. This, according to the Director of National HIV and AIDS and Infectious Disease Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, who tells our news team that a BA-2 variant is a subvariant of the Omicron strain of COVID-19, adding that a large portion of vaccinated persons in China are contracting the strain and dying from it. But even with that said, Dr. Forbes insists that vaccines still work against this strain of the virus. Asked if health officials are minded to recommend a possible travel ban on affected countries, Dr. Forbes says this.
We know that travel bans really are limited in their effectiveness against COVID strains generally because the strains have started to spread by the time they are detected. It is expected that this strain is going to increase in prevalence, and it may be the widely circulating strain in a relatively short period of time, based upon what's being seen, for example, in North America, where the strain is gradually increasing in prevalence. And so what does that mean for us? We have to continue to be mindful of the things that work to prevent COVID-19. The public health measures and being vaccinated. If one were to get this new strain, it should help significantly if you're vaccinated to prevent being hospitalized or dying.
That said, Dr. Forbes explains that COVID-19 is here to stay and new strains will develop from time to time, especially when the virus is surging in some places around the world.
So, for example, we're seeing surges in China right now, and it's projected that COVID may increase based upon the rapid rollback of restrictions in many locations. As a matter of fact, the WHO did report that in the last week or two, COVID cases increased 9% globally. And so what does this mean? We do have to continue to remember how to keep ourselves and everyone else safe. Public health precautions, mask wearing does work. You want to try to avoid large crowds, for example, and vaccines. Vaccines are very, very helpful. And therapeutic modalities, they're widely more available now. That will help to reduce the severity for those people who are most at risk.
Earlier this month, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced a series of relaxations for the COVID-19 restrictions, including the rules surrounding large events. This came as daily COVID numbers continue to trend downward. However, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville has gone on record multiple times indicating that the COVID situation is fluid and the government is prepared to tighten and relax these rules as necessary. Dr. Forbes also adds that at this time, she does not foresee restrictions tightening in the near future. Well, it's World Down Syndrome Day 2022. Every year on March 21st, World Down Syndrome Day is observed to create awareness about Down syndrome. Senator Michaela Barnett Ellis took the time out in the upper chambers this morning to acknowledge this day.
The 21st day of the third month was chosen to signify the uniqueness of the triplication of the 21st chromosome, which causes Down syndrome. Down syndrome is universally present across racial, gender, and socioeconomic lines. Down syndrome causes various degrees of intellectual and physical disability and associated medical issues. On this day, people all around the world celebrate this day by wearing brightly colored mismatched socks. Down syndrome chromosomes look like mismatched socks. Today, I apologize for breaking the dress code of this upper chamber, but I'm rocking my brightly colored mismatched socks today to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day.
Senator Barnett Ellis gave a hats off to the Bahamas Down Syndrome Association and to the team at Ty's Place, a local restaurant that brings awareness to people with developmental challenges and gives them employment opportunities. According to the United Nations, the estimated incidence of Down syndrome is between 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 1,100 live births worldwide. It is not yet known why this syndrome occurs, but Down syndrome has always been a part of the human condition. It exists in all regions across the globe and commonly results in variable effects on learning styles, physical characteristics, and health. In December of 2011, the United Nations General Assembly declared March 21st as World Down Syndrome Day. In other news from the court, a 26-year-old man stood before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt this afternoon, accused of having sex with his 3-year-old daughter. It's alleged that between Thursday, February 24th and Saturday, February 26th, while in New Providence, he had unlawful sexual intercourse with a 3-year-old girl who, by blood relation, is his daughter. He was also charged with 1 count of indecent assault. According to court documents, sometime between Thursday, February 24th and Saturday, February 26th, while in New Providence, he also indecently assaulted his daughter. The defendant was also charged with 1 count of cruelty to children. And the particulars are that in between that same time frame, while in New Providence, while having his daughter in his custody, he did assault her in a manner causing her unnecessary suffering or injury to health. Now, after reading his charges, the Chief Magistrate asked the accused if he has acquired legal counsel. In response, he said that he was never made aware of the charges against him until today. He was not required to enter a plea and was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until July 26 for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. During debate on the mid-year budget, Mario Boleg, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, highlighted the Be Inspired program, which is government-funded grant designed to help young entrepreneurs between 18 and 25 successfully launch their business ideas using grants of $5,000. Mr. Boleg revealed that a total of $300,000 was allocated for the program during the 2021-2022 fiscal period, which allowed his ministry to award 60 of 168 approved applicants. However, he noted the previous administration originally budgeted nearly 3 times that amount for the program, but he claimed the F&M did not use those funds in the program.
Everyone knows I have been involved in basketball for most of my life, and I have worked in partnership with the ministry over the many years, but now as the minister, I'm amazed by the magnitude of the portfolio and ever so concise of the extreme importance of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. I have heard it said before, and it is true, my ministry is the heartbeat of the country. We have oversight for positive development of our nation's youth, oversight for our nation's sports and recreation development. And also, we must be the purveyors and protectors of our country's cultural heritage. In one way or another, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture touches the lives of every single Bahamian through its program, projects, and partnership. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the ministry mantra is to reflect the spirit of our nation, provide avenues and opportunities to express the resilience that characterize the Bahamian people. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish to encourage every Bahamian to synchronize with us, link up with us, and join us on our quest to further strengthen our youth, sports, and culture stakeholders. I now turn to the Department of Youth. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this dynamic division continues to create, facilitate, and implement programs to enhance services and projects for the nation's youth. These varied programs, which extend throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, assist young people in making desirable choices for their self-development, better preparing them to make full and meaningful contributions to all levels of society. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Fresh Start Grand Bahama program was launched in February of this year, consisting of 50 participants from across the island. Through successful partnership with BTVI, participants were exposed to welding and with construction, carpentry, electrical, data entry, QuickBooks, food and beverages, hospitality, computer technology. They are now better equipped to meet the NCCER and OSHA standards, receive Bahama Host and Food Handlers certifications, personal development and job readiness tips, and 4-week internship, all making them more attractive and prepared candidates for the workplace. This cohort costs my ministry some $120,000. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Fresh Start program in New Providence is one of the oldest programs within the Division of Youth. The 16-week program serves youth between the ages of 18 and 25 years old. Fresh Start equips our young people with the skills and training required to seek and retain long-term employment. Unfortunately, our spring 2020 cohort with 45 participants was suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic and did not advance to the intern experience. Now I am excited to announce that the spring 2022 cohort launched in February with 40 participants. They will receive training in various skills including culinary and baking, beauty trades, office procedures, web and design, food and beverages service, and mixology. All participants matriculate to internship with our various partners within corporate Bahamas, to whom we owe a debt of gratitude. I express my profound thanks to them. The budget for the Fresh Start New Providence is some $111,300, and the program is led by Youth Officer Shanda Roberts. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Grand Bahama Leader Certificate Program is on the move. The Youth Leader Certificate course started just days ago, March 12th, on the island with an in-person session. A cost of $9,700 will be incurred to successfully run this cohort for 40 youth leaders. I wish to highlight our youth coordinator, Carla Brown-Roker, who execute these and other ministries programs through the Grand Bahama office. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Be Inspired program is a government-funded, grant-based program designed to empower young Bahamian citizens between the ages of 18 and 35 years. With establishing and expanding their small businesses, it provides aspiring entrepreneurs who possess viable small business ideas with the tools and other resources necessary to facilitate the successful launch and management of their business. Successful participants are awarded grants up to $5,000, which will enable them to procure the goods and materials of their business ventures and access training, mentorship, and ongoing feedback, mentoring, and evaluation. A total of $300,000 was allocated for this program for the 2021-22 fiscal period. This amount enabled us to honor and commit to approximately 60 out of the 168 approved Be Inspired applicants. The remaining 108 deserving applicants who have satisfied all of the program's requirements have been justly approved for these grants are still awaiting funding, which we anticipate will happen in the new fiscal year. Interesting enough, under the last administration, this budget used to be $840,000. Because they never used it, they cut it down to $300,000. But I can say this much. In the next fiscal period, we intend to increase that budget to show them how you take care and empower our youth. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we have additional 110 applicants on the wait list for the next program offering, which we anticipate offering in the next fiscal year. The Youth Officer, Ingrid Says DeVoe, is responsible for the Be Inspired program. The Youth Leader Certificate Program, highly subscribed training program that equips our youth leaders and youth workers and effective techniques and methods of youth work and youth development. It is aimed to standardize the training of youth leadership, equalize the service, and deliver our young people on national level. The YLCP typically runs for 16 weeks as an in-person training, New Providence, on Tuesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. However, after the COVID-19 pandemic, this program is now being facilitated 100% virtually. This has transformed the YLCP into a truly national program, as it enables.
Mr. Bolek anticipates the remaining 108 successful applicants will be addressed in the new fiscal year. Meanwhile, former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Iram Lewis, sought to explain why the nearly $1 million budget was not used as allocated in the 2021-2022 F&M fiscal budget.
And out of the $800,000 plus, only $300,000 was utilized. He's correct. The reason being, when I became the minister last March, the youth officers were in the initial stage of planning summer programs. And because of health issues, every summer program was canceled. We worked with them, tried to get it with the Ministry of Education, with the churches, with corporate Bahamas. No one was willing to take on our students because of health issues. So that's the reason why some $500,000 was not utilized. I just want to go on record as explaining why the money was there and we didn't use it.
In the past, there have been critics who say $5,000 is not sufficient to start a meaningful business and recommended an increase. Meanwhile, the successful applicants of the Be Inspired program also receive ongoing training, mentorship, and evaluation to ensure their success. The Commissioner of Police, Paul Roll, hinted to members of the press today that he will retire this year after nearly 40 years of service to the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Yeah, this year, man. I said we all serve in the police force for 40, and I'm nearing that time. I'm looking forward to that. I'm meeting the Prime Minister on Thursday, and I guess I'll have a conversation with him and let him know. I've discussed it already with my family, with my wife, and at some point. Yeah, but I have some vacation, and we'll see how that goes.
Commissioner Roll joined the RBPF in May of 1983. He spent a number of years deployed to Criminal Investigation Division. He was also made Assistant Commissioner in 2017 and established and led the Anti-Corruption Branch as its head. Mr. Roll was appointed Commissioner of Police in March of 2020. Commissioner Roll is the 8th commissioner since the Bahamas has been an independent nation. If you've got someone in mind who has contributed to national development of the Bahamas, nominations are officially open for national honors, and under no circumstances should the person you nominate be made aware. The National Honor Society 2022 Advisory Committee making a call for nominations from the general public of persons to be conferred with an award under the National Honors Act of 2016. The Society of Honors include the Order of National Hero, Order of Nation, Order of the Bahamas, Order of Excellence, Order of Distinction, Order of Merit, and the Order of Lignum Vitae. In addition to honors, the award of medals nominations include Distinguished Service Medals for citizens of the Bahamas in recognition of exceptional service in the public service or the civil society, or badges of honors for persons in the civil society who perform exceptional service to the Bahamas, and medals for bravery undertaken in the Bahamas by any person. Nomination forms may be obtained from the Cabinet Office in New Providence, Administrator's Office in all districts of the Family Islands, and on the government's website www.bahamas.gov.bs. Now, the deadline for the submission of nomination forms, which should have pertinent information of the nominee, is no later than April 8, 2022. Those forms must be submitted to the Secretary of the National Honor Secretary, Cabinet Office. The Governor General will make announcements of approved awards on Independence Day, July 10th. Conferment of all awards will take place on the second Monday in October of this year. In this segment of the news, competing at the IAAF 2020 World Indoor Championships in Serbia on Saturday, the Bahamas was made proud once again as Shawnee Miller-Weibo and Devin Charlton both made it to the podium despite stiff competition. Drino Saunders has more in this report.
As the country continues to lean towards naming a new national sport, be it sloop sailing or track and field, what we do know is that track and field athletes continue to put the Bahamas on the global map. On Saturday, competing at the IAAF World Indoor Track and Field Championships in Belgrade, Serbia, Shawnee Miller-Weibo and Devin Charlton were both able to climb the podium. That's the medal podium. Right now, you are watching Shawnee Miller-Weibo in the women's 400 meters. She's in lane 6 at the top of the screen, where she ran a season's best 50.31 seconds to win the title over a very talented field that included Olympic 400 meter hurdles champion Femke Bol from the Netherlands and Jamaica's Stephanie Ann McPherson. Shawnee, now 27 years old, got out very hard and won the pole position after the first lap, making it difficult for anyone to pass her on the way to her first indoor world gold medal after taking bronze in Poland in 2014. The University of Kentucky's Megan Moss was not able to advance past the first round in the women's 400, and she was 26th overall. Meanwhile, the focused Devin Charlton, 26 years old now, matched her Bahamian record in the women's 60-meter hurdles to take silver in 7.81 seconds. Using a lightning-quick start and a clean race, Devin won her first medal at the senior level following a stellar career at Purdue University. France took the gold in that women's 60-meter hurdles. Also competing for the Bahamas was Anthony Strawn, who advanced to the semifinals of the women's 60 meters. Donald Thomas bowed out at 2.20 meters in the men's high jump. The gold and silver medals saw the Bahamas finish tied for 14th on the medal table, with Ethiopia winning the medal race, followed by the United States second. Team Bahamas and other athletes around the world will now gear up for the highly anticipated IAAF World Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon in July. Chirino Saunders for JCN News.
Well, that does it for news this evening. Once again, I'm Tyler Simonat, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a good evening, everyone.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.